Something's going on. Okay. Hey. Yeah, dude. Evil cat. Evil cat's making sounds in the background. Welcome to the channel. It's me again. And I gotta wave her around a little bit because I don't have any incense or anything. Hey, V. She's just gonna cleanse the the vibes a little. Cause I suspect uh what's the word I'm looking for? I almost wanted to say malware, but that's like a computer thing. Uh just like there's like a thing cuz like when I wanted to start this live, I had a thumbnail that was like for the thing and it was Robin and Starfire, and when I wanted to start it, it was like change the device's orientation, and I was like, "What?" Cuz I had it on the right orientation. And then when I went to go edit it, it took the thumbnail away. So you might not even be able to see the thumbnail anymore. So I have to re-add the thumbnail. But it was like the perfect thumbnail. I'm gonna spray this a little bit. This is like the only thing I do have. This is like sandalwood musk. I got this from like the dollar store, but it smells really good. Yeah! Okay, so we're gonna start this one. I have a feeling that if you like this one, you probably like the one I just recorded like earlier this afternoon. So it'll be like a good 2 hours of content if you guys just want to like binge it. And when I send these off, I'm gonna make sure that I put both links in there because I think the energies of these are really similar. Like I hadn't even thought to like clear out the last energy completely yet, so I think that's significant because I even posted the thumbnail at the same time. So check out the one before that, and it was the situation is becoming clear, something like that. But I'm gonna read the request for this one so you guys know what this is all about. So she says, "Hi Ceylon, it's been a while." Yeah, it has. I'm glad that your trip to your new home was safe, and you seem so much more happy to be surrounded by friends and family. I'm getting this reading because I'm having a hard time scoping out my situation with my person. I'm moving to Utah in a couple months, and that means I'll be a lot further, which may make seeing them in person difficult. I haven't told my person yet the exact time frame. We also had an argument a while ago because I called him while he was drunk and he told me that he was in love with multiple women. I'm very possessive, so this triggered me and caused me to yell at him. After that, we've spoken and he's acted normal. He's asked me to come over since then, but I haven't been able to because of my own circumstances. Although it seems like we've moved on from the argument, I can tell he's still distant. Now that I'm moving, I've been thinking a lot about him and how things will end up when I move. If he'll forget about me or if he'll end up with one of those girls he told me about. I really want to have an emotionally vulnerable conversation with him about how much I miss him or I will miss him when he leaves and open up about my own feelings towards him. But he's not the kind of person that I can just present that to. It usually requires some careful orchestrated circumstances. So I guess my questions are: one, when I leave to Utah, will our relationship deplete? Two, how and when should I go about telling him about my upcoming move? Three, should I also attempt to have a very deep conversation about how I feel about him before I move to Utah? Four, was he serious about liking this other woman or was he just trying to be an asshole? And then five, what does he think about me when he what does he think about me when he sees me at work? This one is more random because we work together at a mortgage company and he's been creeping around me recently, so I wonder what he's been trying to do. Sorry if that was a lot. As always, you're my favorite reader and I trust you. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everything. I love Panini. It's always a good time in her energy. Like I'm already smiling and stuff, so that's nice. And then I literally said I suspect malware, right? And this is like my work. So I wouldn't be surprised if this person is like stalking and like creeping around your workplace. That really wouldn't surprise me at all. But what stuck out to me about this request when I read it the first time was the part where you were like, I really want to have an emotionally vulnerable conversation with him about how much I miss him, but when he leaves, and open up my yeah, see it? I really want to have an emotionally vulnerable conversation with him about how much I'll miss him when he leaves and open up about my own feelings towards him. But he's not the kind of person I can just present that to. So, the reason why that stuck out is because I can relate to that. Like, I feel that same way because with my person, like, it's basically like talking to a brick wall, like literally like talking to a brick wall, but I still do it. So I wonder if that like I can't present it to him thing is just you like feeling weird about what will happen when you do. Because like when I'm emotionally vulnerable with my person, like I don't get the most comforting soft responses. Like I don't. So you know, it's not that I don't do it though. I still do. Like I'll talk to him like as if, you know, he's there listening. And I know that he is listening. It's just that he doesn't really say much back. So I wonder if you could, you know, find a way to overcome whatever your own personal insecurities are about like not being heard or not getting the response that you want, because that could be a blockage to you communicating in the way that you need to moving forward into this like big move. But I actually wanted to start this reading talking more about you than this person, because a move to Utah is kind of like a big deal, right? So I kind of wanted to look into that for you because we talked about like my move and how that's been for me. So I want to, we're just gonna see like what's going on with you, and then we'll get into like the relationship stuff shortly after. But I think it'd be good to like kind of touch base and get a little bit of a calibration going. So what does Panini need to know about new life as a result of this move? Like, why is this happening? How is she benefiting? What should she expect from being in a new environment? I'm already seeing the manifester. So this feels like a situation that you have called into existence, whether or not you even did that consciously. We have the Uniter in the reverse, number 19, affirmation. I know that my love has come to unite me with my beloved. And this is what that card looks like. Because I used to have like really bad scars on my hands, but now they're not that bad anymore. Like when I first moved here, my dad had me cut off my rings. And the ring that I wore on this finger was like, I guess it was like somewhat of like a promise ring or something like that. Like it was like my way of like adorning myself, because I'm a real devoted type of person, which I think I pick up on that same kind of vibe from you, because like yeah. So I was wearing a ring like that I wanted to wear that reminded me of him, and then when I got here like I had to get cut off. And at first like the scar was like really bad, and I was like, oh my gosh, like my hands are ugly, and like no one else is ever gonna like want to put a ring on my finger because my hands are ugly. But they're not even that bad anymore. It's been a couple months and they're already starting to fade. So I wonder, like, that Uniter card coming out in the reverse. I have to say that you like are gonna forgive about this person, right? Because I still talk to my person, but like there could be a value to getting some separation, if not just to like have a greater appreciation for what it is that you want to unite with, like in a long-term goal. Because like in my devotion, sometimes I feel like sometimes I can make myself like overly accessible. Like I just kind of completely submit to being possessed, having possessions. So there could be something about that. Like, if you wanted to see the situation improve, there could be improvement by some kind of unpredictable means. And it might not, like, that movie, I think it's Are We Done Yet? With Ice Cube, and they're, like, constructing their house and stuff. And then the dude Chuck is like, it's gotta get worse before it gets better. And everybody's like, fuck you, Chuck. But, like, maybe there's, like, something, like, real about the situation where, like, if you really feel like you have something going with this person, there could be a necessary like rift, and that rift could create some new level of appreciation. Because at the time, like I was like 5 miles away from this guy, and we weren't making a lot of progress. And now I'm like 3,000 something miles away, and I don't know that we've necessarily made more progress, but I definitely feel like the fact that I'm not just sitting there waiting, like kind of creates this understanding of the fact that I'm free. And not only just in my mind, but maybe also in his. Okay, so what else about this move? Whoa. This card just fell right near my cat's foot. And there's now a bug in my window. What? If you hear like a buzzing sound, it's the bug that's trying to figure out how glass works. Like glass is the divider, you know, like we're not outside, we're inside, but you can still see outside. So like that's what I was kind of picking up on, like this like spectator vibe. I don't know who that, and I keep dropping the cards. I don't know who that could be, if that's like something that's like good or bad. But the future, I fell at my cat's feet. Number 35, affirmation: I plan for the future with respect for the unexpected. And it looks like this, and there's more of like a surveyor kind of vibe, but in this case it's like an angel vibe. And it's interesting, it's like a Greek angel with like an Asian lady. So I wonder if some of the forces in the world that are protecting you right now are not necessarily ones that you would have predicted for yourself. Like I've been leaning like and taking inspiration from my European ancestry recently, which is not something that I ever really did growing up, because I identified pretty heavily with being Black most of my childhood. Not that I don't now, but it's just like, you know, I'm taking cues where the cues are available to be taken. So there could be something about this move and your environment and how that's shaping you that maybe even that makes you better or worse, but just changes you. And that's all necessary towards the future vision that I guess God has planned for you. Because it says I plan for the future, but I don't know that like you necessarily are completely in control of your life and its course. So that's something that, like, you know, can be helpful if you're the kind of person who feels the need to control everything and feels like things are out of control. Like maybe it's because things are working out in a way that you couldn't have foreseen, wouldn't have planned, but is actually how it should be. Then we have the experimenter, number 23. I almost like hit myself in the face with that. Affirmation: I am strong and secure enough to experiment as I see fit. Yeah, I feel like this is like an opening thing for you. Like moving away from a place that you've been in for however long, working at like a mortgage firm. Like there could have been like this energy of boredom even in your life. I'm not saying that there had to be. I'm not trying to force boredom onto you. But if there was any kind of boredom or like stagnancy, it feels like there's opportunities for you to switch things up. And I think you're called to embrace that. Like, I know this is like a love reading and you're wanting to know about your person, but I felt called to spend some time just like focusing on you before we even did that. So it could be that's how you're being guided right now, is to figure out what you want. Like, what would be the most fulfilling for you, even beyond a relationship? Like, take relationships completely out of the picture. Like, what do you want for your life? What are your goals? Identifying those and then figuring out what resources are available either like here in the now or in the future in Utah that could be like helpful for you and taking like some of those steps. Because I didn't turn like the United came out initially in the reverse, but when on the table right now it's like sideways pointing towards the future. So it looks like this. This is the future and the experimenter, and then I have the United like this. Yeah. And I associate this cat with Archangel Uriel, who has a lot of control over time and space. So this is like Coraline, you know, that cat who can like literally like create portals and like go wherever she wants. That's exactly how like my cat is. So you could have some kind of assistance right now in making sure that you're in the right place at the right time to get the right results. So submit to that. Like I was even cooking yesterday and something told me like, hey, like slow your roll, like take your time on this. And I was like, okay, like that's annoying because I'm hungry right now. But like, okay, you know? So like I don't want to say like, you know, completely ignore like your primal desires or whatever, but like be open to what those other voices in your head are saying right now, because it could be that there's like unlikely advice that's coming through that will get you to that unlikely situation, that unlikely scenario, and there's a value to the being in that unlikely scenario, because it's highly possible that if you're like with me, then you're kind of like, you know, special, like a Fantastic Mr. Fox kind of a thing, like you're like a shiny rock, so you're not really normal in some kind of way, or you're like exquisite in some kind of way. And so the best way to kind of align with situations that are exquisite is to take exquisite action. Like, you know, like part of being differentiated is being differentiated. So in some ways, like what you're guided to do in your life may not make any sense to anyone else. Like I said before in the beginning of the live, like I talk to my person and he does not respond to me. And I don't really even mind that. Like at one point I used to be a little bit more insecure and embarrassed because I was like, dude, I'm talking to myself here. But like when I consider our circumstances, it doesn't really seem that strange. You know, like cuz we're on different timing. Like we're not normal people. And I think if I like base how I move in this relationship based off of like what other people would think was like okay or cool or like acceptable, then I probably wouldn't have made as much progress as I have. So I would say like allow yourself to be different and for like allow your life to look different and like and thus get different results or like especially special results, right? Um yeah. Okay. Cuz I feel like you could be like occasionally fighting with yourself here about like there's like a energy of like cognitive dissonance about what the right thing to do is. But if you're basing like the right thing to do based off of like what makes sense for other people, like what's common, I think you're like selling yourself short of what you actually are. Excuse my burps. Then we have the leaders, number 5. Affirmation, I know how to lead because I know what needs to be done. And I just heard in my head different strokes for different folks. So like I'm struggling to not like make this about love. I'm trying to focus on you, right? So if this doesn't have anything to do with love, this is you taking independent actions in your life that make the most sense to you. Like you're not like you're building the Lego set without the instructions that came in the box. Like you know what needs to be put where. You are going by touch. You know? So it's like it's an intuitive way of navigating your life, but I think you at this point should have enough confidence in your knowing, like claircognizance, the summoner, to know that like in the confident, yeah, that I can get what I want when I follow my own internal compass, like following your own true north. And I mentioned like that ancestral like provision, like the idea there's something there being like either someone or something else that's like leaning in occasionally to give you some kind of guidance or assistance or be an example in some kind of way. So I think a lot of these examples are coming to you frequently, positive and negative examples on how you can steer yourself in the direction that you want to be in and get the outcome that you want to have. And then my angel cat of time and space just meowed. She's a pretty serious little guy, even though she's like literally like maybe 5 pounds and barely exists. Like she she only you like honestly sometimes I even forget that I have a cat because she's only relevant when she makes herself relevant. So you could be a kind of a low-key person, like maybe you get a lot done behind the scenes. So don't worry too much about what it looks like if you're like feeling like you're judged in any kind of way for either how much you have or have not participated or what it is that you contribute. Because sometimes I feel that way. Like I haven't been employed in a while, and I'm like, dude, like people probably think I'm wasting away, but I do things that people don't think of as being important. So there could be something about that, like you comparing yourself to others or sorry, my hair looks weird. I didn't really do it today. I just kind of like woke up. I don't know why I'm like judging myself. What the heck is going on? I didn't even care about my hair until like just now. And then I said I suspected malware, right? So there could even be like this energy of like some of those voices being intruding, invasive voices. Like you could have people in your life that are invading upon your energy, upon your peace, upon your stability because your peace and your stability bothers them. And if these people like if they aren't in your life, like they can't literally say something or do something to like fuck you up, then there's like the energy of them like preying on your downfall or like you know, cooking up whatever magic they could cook up, you know. It's this energy of intrusion or invasion. So honestly, some of this separation or distance that you could be taking could be like taking you away from some people or some places or some situations that have been like interfering in your ability to produce the way that you need to in order to align with some of these outcomes that you want to bring into your life. Okay, let's see what else. Benny and the Jets. Yeah, the fighters are still here. So if this isn't like a cognitive dissonance that just truly is between like you and yourself, or like your ego and your higher self, then this can just be between like you and the intrusive voices that are manifesting through other people's doubt in you. Okay, then we have the nurturer, number 4 in the reverse. Affirmation: I deserve to feel nurtured because I give to those I cherish. Yeah, I feel like some people that you're gonna be moved away from, whether this is in the workplace or like in your family or whatever, are people who improperly nurture or nurture like almost narcissistically, like with the intent to possess or own or control. And then we have the judge, number 8, affirmation: I am relentless in my pursuit of honesty and justice. So you're meant to be like activated into this I want to almost say all powerful version of yourself, like judge, jury, and executioner. It's coming out underneath the future. So the next version of yourself is the most powerful version of yourself that you ever have been, and you have that to look forward to in the next coming months. Is not only just the move, but like everything that's required in order to be ready for that. So that's why I think it's important to not be judgmental towards yourself, because you probably don't even know a lot of people who will ever amass as much power as you will or can in your life. I don't know where specifically you're wanting to go in your life, but that's why I'm kind of like wanting to encourage you to watch that last video, because I mentioned that Nanami Kento energy where someone could be like in a workaholic energy, like working really hard, but they're only like halfway to their end goal. Whatever your like future vision is, or whatever you're trying to manifest, maybe in terms of like career promotion or something like that's definitely attainable. But it might require like another push or like another go at something or a follow up in some kind of way. But I think you're going to be guided to know like when to move. But she's like moving up. Yeah. Speak words of motivation to the people. Jerk. Benny! Okay, we have the truthful, number 33. Affirmation: I speak my truth and expect everyone I care about to do so too. I'm also getting Rocket Man. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. The touchdown brings me running into fire. There's a big truck carrying like what looks like a shed on the back of there. Yeah. Okay, look. So if it's not that like you're getting the promotion like in your job, it's it could be that you're expanding in some other way. Like there was a truck carrying like a shed. Like they just went to like Lowe's or whatever and bought a shed for their house, and they were carrying it through the neighborhood. So there's like an expansion. If it's not like even related to your work, it could be like an expansion, like a religious pursuit, spiritual pursuit. It could be some kind of like hobby that you're taking on. But it's related to like maybe your truth, like who you really are. Like I've been thinking like when I start making more money, maybe I will take like a dance class or something like that, because I really love to dance, and it's not at all related to like this really, but I love to dance. And that would bring me like some life satisfaction, right? Like whatever that thing is that you might want to do that you probably have been thinking about or might start thinking about in the future, it's coming out underneath the experimenter. So there are situations in your life right now coming up will be available for you to be a new person, try to like integrate new aspects of self. I've also been learning German for the past like 3 months, and that's been going really well. So try it. You might like it. Yo gabba gabba. I saw The Worker, and it feels like it will require like consistent effort to be good or to be like productive in whatever that expansion is, but it's worth to do that. It's worth, and it could even be something like therapy, you know, with the truthful and the experimenter. Um, yeah. There's a bug. And my throat hurts. Bro, who the fuck is watching me right now? Ooh! Somebody doesn't like me is watching me right now, bro. And I think downstairs my little brother just got home. Cause I hear my dad talking louder. So, it could be that like my cat's gonna kill it. She's good for that. Like she's my black cat, my protection cat. So like if you have anybody in your life that you're worried about like intruding upon you, you already have like some kind of reinforcement, even if it's spiritual, even if you can't see it because you don't have like a pet or something like that. Just know that there's like a black cat running around and your energy like killing the bugs. And let that like comfort you. Like you might not even have to fight all your battles, especially if you're like me and you have like a lot of spiritual protection. Cause she's hunting it down right now. The teacher in reverse, number 10. Affirmation: I study and share wisdom with those who will value it. So if you're not a teacher yourself, there's a mentor available for you somewhere. Even if it's just through like Duolingo, like for me. Or like my dad is like a finance bro. So like if I need to know something about like stocks, I could ask my dad. Like the other day I asked him like if you were gonna buy land, like where would you buy it? And it's just like sometimes I just like to hear him talk about stuff that he knows. So there could be value to just like going out and seeking new information right now, and then not even like with any attachment to where it takes you, just because it's better to like broaden yourself in some kind of way. Because I get this vibe that you are like whatever you do, you're like maybe like really good at it. Like maybe one of the best people who does it. Um, People will know that about you, and if it's like moving into this new environment, I think that you might even progress quickly because people will know what differentiates you from other people who play a role. Like if you're not going out of your way to kind of like brag on yourself right now, maybe you should, because you could be that more like reserved type person where like I said my cat like she barely exists outside of when she makes herself like known by like meowing or like whatever she does. So you might need to make yourself known more for what it is your skill set is. And if it's not like something you want to broadcast, it's like I want to practice this more. I want to make more. Like if you're a potter, you want to make more jars, kind of a thing. Like putting your skills into practical use. Like I even thought about like I've been making TikToks in like German and stuff like that, because what's the point of knowing a language if I don't speak it, right? I even encouraged my friend Sky to she has tarot cards and stuff like that. I was like, girl, you should like read your own cards, or like you should like make your own tarot channel, because like why not? Like it's not only just for some people. Like if you have a skill, you should use it. So yeah, like it's that kind of energy where like you may feel activated into pursuing new things in this part of your life, and that's like righteous and that's good, and you should follow through with whatever those ideas are, because they could actually end up like even changing your pathway. Like if what I said before about like feeling bored in your life resonated, then there's opportunities to not be as bored with this experimenting truthful energy, leadership energy. Like, right here we have like a T, like the Teen Titans Tower, and like the thumbnail for this was Teen Titans, Starfire and Robin. And it's the future, the experimenter, the leaders, and then the truthful. So like each of those like Teen Titans have their own power, and it's related to something about like who they are. Like I always felt like Raven from the Teen Titans, and I'm like an occultist, so that makes a lot of sense. Like that's me. But like maybe you're cyborg, maybe you're really good with computers. Um, Maybe you're Robin, you had like a really cool like father figure who taught you like how to do everything. Maybe you're Beast Boy and you like talk to animals, kind of thing. Like it's whatever your thing is, you're encouraged to like lean more into that thing, because whatever this change is for you, it's happening to kind of like maybe even activate some of those traits that you have that were latent before. We have the warrior, more of that Teen Titans vibe. Affirmation, I ask for what I want because I deserve to get what I want. So you need to kind of like maybe embody more confidence moving into this new part of your life. But now that we talked about that, we can talk about the lovey-dovey stuff now. And I'm just going to refresh my memory on what that was that you wanted to know, like each of the questions. She keeps popping up. And I don't want to be annoyed because I know that she's my friend, right? Like she's my buddy. But she keeps popping up. Makes me feel like there's someone in the chat that like is hating on me. I don't know why that would be because I literally don't talk to anybody. I just mind my own business. Yeah, what's that about? And she wasn't even doing this in the reading like right before this. Like she was not this active. But now she like needs to be in the frame. So I wonder if there's anybody in your life that's like demanding attention from you, or she's an Aries, so it's like a little bit of like an arrogant vibe, conceited, self-righteous characters. Okay, so we talked about the request. Basically, the situation is that she's dealing with a person who is, okay, I just got a notification that says don't do it for anyone else. So, I mean, I'm already kind of getting the vibe that you might be like led into isolation. And that's why I said look at the reading before this, and I'll make sure that I link it. If not, like clip it in the corner so you can just click it. But yeah, basically she wants to talk to her person about like what's been going on. They've had an argument about the fact that he is interested in other people, and she wants to know like how things are going to change when she moves, and whether or not he's actually serious about those other people, or if he's just like, you know, trying to piss her off. So we're gonna see how is the relationship going to change when you go to Utah. If you hear like voices in the background, it's my dad and my brother. So how will things change after Panini moves? Queen of Wands in reverse. Page of Swords in reverse. You might take a hit to your confidence. Just because I feel like you are a person that attracts attention. I don't know that you see how much attention that you actually draw in though. I feel like I'm getting a humble vibe off of you, which is why I was saying, like, if you felt like you wanted to brag more about what you have to offer or advertise yourself more, like, you know, download a dating app or something like that, like, who could really fault you for that? Then we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, the Four of Swords, and the Tower. So, like, yeah, this distance thing definitely probably puts, like, this relationship kind of on the back burner for both of you. It doesn't stop being important. It just becomes a simmer pot, is basically what I'm getting. Like, and then through like it's simmering, there's like realizations that are meant to be had by both parties. So I get this feeling like not having you around will come as maybe a shock, or like it'll feel like a loss. Like the destruction is implied by the Tower. And another tarot card, like the Rider-Waite, it's like two people jumping out and they're like falling to the ground. There's no like falling in this interpretation. It just feels like a change in fortune that maybe is coming as a shock and puts people into a position of like stagnancy or rest. So you can expect the situation to like kind of stagnate, not make a lot of fast-paced like progress, which, you know, that makes sense with you. Like, I don't know how far Utah is from where you are now, but you said in the request that they would like kind of make you guys long distance, so that makes sense. This person wouldn't be like likely to tell you like through words how they feel about this change, but they would definitely feel it and notice it, and it would be something that they like think about. And I think the hit of the confidence comes from the fact that this person doesn't communicate very clearly to you. Why is the Queen of Wands here? Ten of Pentacles, yeah. Because you're actually a more important person than they let you know. And I think on their end, that is kind of, like, intentional. Like, you know, they creep around you at the workplace, but they don't actually, like, maybe talk to you or, like, initiate as much as they might want to. But I think having you around makes the day go by faster, or, like, makes it easier to be. Like, this person would probably struggle to, I don't know, struggle to find motivation. I don't know if they're gonna, like, not show up to their job or, like, you know, whatever. Like, I don't want to exaggerate here. Like, I think this person, like, their life would still continue to go on, you know, but you not being in the cubicle that you're usually in would be like, oh my god, that's where Panini sits and she's not there. And if they replace anybody in that chair, they'd be like, yeah, but you're not Panini, kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you're coming out with the Queen of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles. It's like, you know, highly valued character. Even if you are understated, like, even if you didn't say very much, even if you were just, like, the most reliable person, you always turned in things on time, you communicated well with the boss, like, in whatever situations in which you were stable, could be counted on, the absence of you comes as, like, a, oh my gosh, something's missing kind of a feeling. Because I think people, like, are used to you being there. Yeah, the Hierophant. This is Taurus energy. And we have the Four of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So you could have even been, like, a work mom or, like, a work wife. So if you leave, people are like, you know, where's my work wife, work mom? And then the Three of Swords, or Five of Swords, is coming out here in the reverse. So people have to find new ways to be when their ritualistic way of being is no longer there. And that's, like, I think this person's, like, going through. It's like, or will go through, is like, okay, yeah, there's other things around, but they're not the thing that I like the most. And that won't change. Even, like, as time goes on, it seems like they have an understanding of where their happiness is, even in the presence of other things. Like, this is your person, I feel. Having understanding, gaining realizations. Like, if you were just in their hand before, now you're in their head. Which could be even in some ways more powerful than just being in their hand. Like, at one point you could have just been a tool, but now you are, like, a part of them in some way. Like, you're part of their cognition. You're part of how they think. Whatever investments you've made over, like, time are concrete enough to stand on their own. So, like, one of the things that you wrote were, like, will they forget about me? I don't think so. Like, there's fixed energy here. So, whatever you've built, it's strong enough to stand, even without you continuing to add anything to it. Which is good, because that it makes me feel like you guys have friendship. Like, the Queen of Wands is here to say that you're attracted to this person, but you're not just attracted to this person. The Queen of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles is like, you're attractive and you comfort me. You're attractive and you're my peace. And the Tower and the Hierophant is like, you know, I want to fuck you and live with you. It's like that, like, you know, it's not just fire, it's also earth. So fire and earth are, like, big elements here. And also fixed energy is strong with the Wheel of Fortune and Hierophant. And then we have Mars with the Tower. So men are for Mars, and it's coming out with the Four of Swords. So that's, like, this person being called into rest. Maybe even, like, dare I say, like, brought down a notch. Like, if they felt like they were big and bad before, there's something, like, leveling about whatever this move is for this person. Because, like I said, like, you'll have opportunities to experiment and not a lot of reasons not to. So this feels like a grounding experience for this person. If they were like on cloud nine, then there's a like an opportunity for them to become acquainted with the facts of maybe how they've treated you and what that means about how you mentally are moving forward into this new phase of your life. Yeah, cat confirms. Like, surrender is coming out in the reverse. So, like I said, I don't think this person is like telling you or talking to you, which I think is the most frustrating part about this connection for you, is because like you can feel that this person cares about you and that they value you, but they don't do a lot to like really probably reinforce that for you in the material world. So, like, you don't have proof. This person like is probably struggling internally with like what they can do from right now. And I'm saying right now as if you've already kind of told them. So we'll get into that. Like, but I kind of want to talk about like what, why is communication so difficult in this relationship? And for that, I'm going to use an entirely different deck. Why is communication so difficult in this relationship? I'll talk about why it's difficult for you, and then we'll talk about why it's difficult for them. So why is it hard for Panini to talk to her person about how she feels? Yeah, we have vanity in reverse. I'm going to turn it up right just so I can see the picture. Then we have miracle in reverse. And then recovery was also in the reverse. So I'm turning them all back upright, even though they came out in the reverse, because I feel like whatever you don't think is possible could actually be more possible than you think. And part of what makes it possible could be through, like, yeah, we have soulmate here too. I'm gonna take that out. And grief underneath it in the reverse. Like, you could feel like you have to lower yourself in order to communicate to this person. And from your perception, it could feel like that. Like, I know that I feel like that sometimes when I'm like just talking to myself, basically in the chat, talking to my person, because he doesn't really respond to me. But I know that he's hearing me. So like, the reason why like I think I can kind of like get around that for myself is because I believe more in like the long term like rewards for my investments. Like, I am not really trying to get anywhere fast. So I like to just like talk, and because if I don't say anything, then like literally nothing is happening. Because I can understand how from his position it's difficult to initiate. And I think usually I consider like initiation to be like a masculine quality, like something that masculine people should do. But in the realm of emotions, I think that I am much stronger than him. And so if I have that skill set, that strength, and I know that I do, and I know that he's perhaps even like discouraged from developing that in this phase of his life, it's not like super inconvenient for me to spearhead that part. Especially like in my believing of the fact that what I actually feel is reciprocated, even without a lot of explicit proof. Like, the miracle card and the recovery card are both coming out here. So I don't think that you're necessarily stuck in any position, but you might need to get inventive or allow divine guidance to kind of come through for you for how you can kind of provide some of the tools or resources necessary that make that miracle continually possible. And you're doing that with the understanding that you are already connected to this person in a way that like was orchestrated. Like, if you're attached to a position of like, how do I want to say this? let's say you're like, I'm right. And so because I'm right, I am just gonna keep being right and you're gonna keep being wrong. I feel like that's what makes you stuck more than being like, I know that I'm right, but in order to move forward, we have to do this. And it's like, it's when I say that, I literally say we, not me, you know? So I guess it depends on how you're thinking about the situation. Okay, let's see them. What is making it hard for them to communicate? Rejection. Faith and impasse. Isolation in reverse. Completion. And destiny in reverse. Self-worth in reverse. Okay, so this person, they remind me a lot of the person who I just talked about in the last reading. A lot of the same cards are coming out here. So I think both of you, honestly, if you looked at yourself, could be resting in some energy of insecurity. Not only just like in yourself, but then also how that, like, how you seem to the other person, like your value in the other person's eyes. So I think it's valuable in the eyes of a person that you're truly compatible with to defy obstacles. I think this person struggles to initiate that, especially in emotional realms. Like if it was like career or if it was like, you know, a literal obstacle course, they'd probably be jumping all over the obstacles. But when it comes to this, it feels like you are ahead of them. I almost said above them. I don't really want to say that. I think it's just like you could be dealing with different skill sets here. And this person could be committed to a certain image of themselves that makes it difficult for them to really express themselves in honesty to you. So that doesn't mean that you can't be honest. It just means that you're dealing with someone who struggles to be honest. There's still a value, I think, to you having the more honest self-expression right now. Because even if this person struggles to be honest to you, your honesty can help them be more honest. I hope that makes sense and is not like, doesn't sound like I'm trying to enable this person. But in some ways, it might feel like, you know, during this process, you are enabling some of their bad behaviors. And when I say bad behaviors, I mean like you not liking how they behave. Because I'm assuming that you don't like the fact that they have multiple options because that makes you feel like you're less significant. But it doesn't really have to make you feel like you're less significant when you consider the fact that this person doesn't entertain multiple options because you're not significant. Does that make sense? It's really like a clusterfuck because it doesn't make a lot of sense emotionally until you consider the fact that this person's emotionally stunted. And with that consideration, it makes more sense. Like, this person is emotionally stunted in a way in a way that perhaps you are not. And so you kind of overcompensating in the emotional area is maybe the way that you help show love, like a divine kind of love to this person. A love that wouldn't come from the average person, but does come from a soulmate. Does that make sense? So I honestly would probably encourage you to be radically honest and radically emotionally expressive to this person, even though that they are not that way to you. And that they wouldn't go out of their way to create that platform for you to be. And like I said, like even if they don't respond right now, in a way that you can appreciate, it's not because you don't deserve a comforting landing. It's because they literally don't know how to give it, kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta know who you're dealing with here. Because it seems like this person could just, like, naturally be stunted in such a way that makes it difficult for them to participate right now in the way that you would participate from your end. Okay. Dude, Shadow Cat keeps coming. What is it that you want from me? Just to be present, I guess, on my lap. I do like having her here. I'm complaining about it, but I love my cat. She's so evil. Okay. So she pulls up, like, wanting love, but her face is, like, so menacing. Like, she doesn't have a happy face. Like, I've never really seen my cat and thought, oh, you look so happy today. She just doesn't have a happy face. But I'm sure she's happy in her own little evil way. And that's what I mean about, like, just knowing who you're dealing with, right? Like, if I didn't know my cat, I would think, you know, you're angry at me, maybe. Or that you want to, like, bite me or something. But that's just her face. So you could be dealing with someone who's, like, literally just stoic. Or, like, not that they can't bear witness to you and your emotions, but you might have more emotions than they do. Okay, so how and when should you go about telling them about your upcoming move? Let us see. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. I don't know that you should really wait. I think the longer you wait, the more shock it comes as, and then the less time you have to see if there is a difference in behavior. So I guess it depends on, like, you know, whether or not you're willing to give this person a chance to, like, kind of change in their position. But if you, like, waited until, like, the last second, it was like, okay, like, I'm leaving to Utah tomorrow, then, like, they'd probably be like, oh my gosh. And then they would feel like, oh, well, you didn't even give me a chance to, like, be different. Not that you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that they should have had a chance to be different. If, like, in your mind, you might be thinking, like, oh, well, if you wanted to be different, you should have just been different. But, like, for them, there could be an energy of taking you for granted, right? Like, I'll be realistic about that could be at play. But it's not because you're not substantial. It's because this person is under the impression that they have, like, you know, a bunch of options and a bunch of time to make things happen the way they want to. Because they're dumb, maybe, in the realm of emotions. So, what are you doing back there? Whatever. If you wanted to, like, test and see, like, okay, does my absence or the threat of it change anything about your behavior? I feel like telling them sooner at least gives you the chance to witness a before and after. And then you could even take that with you to Utah when you're deciding, like, what am I going to do different in my life for myself? So, how and when should you go about this conversation? King of Cups in reverse. Four of Wands. Eight of Wands in reverse. Nine of Cups. So at your own leisure, but you don't have to, like, hold back anything here in this conversation. Yeah, like, you don't have to hold back. You should not hold back. Because I feel like you know, this person may not be emotional, but I think they would appreciate honesty. Queen of Swords, yeah. Go ahead and talk. Temperance. And then let the situation like kind of like work itself out from there in the way that it's supposed to once you've cleared your plate. Like, clear your plate. Don't worry about like how much they eat. You know what I'm saying? Emotionally, you need to do like whatever serves you. Because I feel like if you're holding yourself back just because they're holding yourself back and you think you need to hold back the same amount because you have the vanity thing, then that's limiting for you in a situation. Because there could even be like the possibility to like have regrets about what you didn't say when you could have said it. And that's worse than making a mistake, in my opinion. Yeah, the sun. Like, shine bright like a diamond. Whatever you gotta do. Be expressive. Take up space. Like, you shouldn't... Like, I would hate to be in a relationship where I feel like I couldn't take up the space that I needed to take up. Like, just to be myself. So if you have feelings, thoughts, I think the recommendation is to go ahead and express them and then see what still exists after that. Like, that would be the way to guarantee the most satisfactory outcome instead of just attaching to having this person. But I honestly do think that if you expressed, like, this person would receive you, even if they don't reciprocate, even in the present moment. Like, their reciprocation could take time. Or their reciprocation could not look like what you would want or hope for. But it wouldn't not be reciprocation. So I think, yeah, I think the value of it is just to kind of detach from what you want to get out of it and then just put in what you feel like you need to. How does this conversation go? I think it's kind of like leading into number 3. Should I also attempt to have a very deep conversation about how you feel about him? Yeah. How does the conversation, how does the emotionally vulnerable conversation go over? Ace of Cups in reverse. 9 of Wands in reverse, the Tower, and the Queen of Wands. So I mentioned like before that hit to the confidence, right? Because I still feel like there could be a possibility that this catches this person off guard and you don't get the response that you are hoping for in terms of like emotional overflow from them because they're not the type to emotionally overflow. They just are the holding back type. I feel like you would have in the past been attracted to this person for the fact that they're stoic. Maybe even having some of those same traits yourself. So I think that's important to kind of lend them some of the empathy for just how they are as a person. Because I don't think this person immediately overflows in any circumstance. But if you express to this person, it gives them more data, more things to consider as they move forward and take their actions, which I feel like they are the type of person to consider when they act, because they're concerned with stability. Yeah, this is Libra energy. 2 of Swords. This is someone who thinks more than they say, for sure. But I think a conversation with you about how you feel, where you tell them how you feel, helps them along their pathway to figuring out how they feel. Which feels like a maze for someone who doesn't really like to think about how they feel. So emotional discourse definitely wouldn't probably come naturally to this person. But it doesn't mean that they should never be in a situation where they have to bear witness to people's emotions. Like, if they care about you, then they should be open to you, to hear you, at least, to receive you. King of Swords, which I think they would. Because like I said, you are someone who occupies their mind. So they would want to know. And I don't think, dude, oh my gosh, she just knocked over my sock monkey. Stop knocking over my stuff. Evil cat. She also knocked over my smokes. Okay. Hold on, guys. It's got like really hot. I gotta take my pants off. Oh my god! Oh my god! My underwear. Okay, yeah. Okay, what if, okay, because my shadow cat is my 8th house. She's Aries, so I wonder if like this person would take off their pants. Like, not like to like fuck or anything necessarily. It could be. But I'm thinking more like reveal their underwear. You know? Like the pressure is too much. So I need to like shed something. Because I think I mentioned that the thing wouldn't end. Like 10 of Swords upright is like, oh, dead body type shit. It's not like that. And the King of Swords is coming out like holding his throne with the Hierophant. And 6 of Wands is here, but it's in the reverse, with the 6 of Cups also in the reverse. So it's like a victory, but maybe not the one that you would have expected. I don't think you can expect what would come from this conversation, honestly. Let's see, how would this person feel knowing that Panini is leaving? Trickery. I wonder if they would feel impatient. I wonder if they would feel like I said, like caught off guard if you waited till like the last minute. Like they would feel maybe like isolation. How would Panini's person feel if she left? Or when she leaves? Passion. And this is someone like literally reading a book or something like that, and the person's like sitting down listening. Renewal. These are primal emotions. These are primal energy centers. So it's like if they were in their head, they're brought back into their body. Perfection and trickery again. I think they become aware of themselves in the ways that they may have abused power. Because you're like a little cute squirrel thing. And then abundance. Bro, look at dude. He's drinking and like, oh my god. I dropped something down this grate. Something important is down there. Creation. So they'd be like, oh my god, this is happening. You know, like it's definitely happening. Maybe in accordance to like God's will. But I don't really like that it's happening. It would make them feel. Like if they haven't been feeling, they would start to feel. Not like, how do I say that? It's like what was on the back burner, if that was you, it becomes like, oh my god, that was on the back burner. Like, I can't believe I had that on the back burner kind of a thing. I shouldn't have put that on the back burner because maybe if I didn't put it on the back burner, we wouldn't be here right now. Like, if this person was passive about it, it becomes less passive because it's like, oh, like, this is changing or happening right now. How can I get on top of this change? Or, like, how can I, like, you know? Because vanity is coming out again in the reverse. It's like, if they were if they were narcissistic in any way, they're becoming aware of themselves in that way. Because you're communicating your perspective to them. So they couldn't see them, now they can. And they probably have like mixed ways of reacting to that, because in some ways their ego's gonna be like, I'm not the problem, you're the problem, you're the one leaving. And in other ways they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, how could I let you leave, kind of thing. Like, I wasn't even a part of your life enough to know that you were doing this, that you were leaving. So otherwise I would have told you don't leave, kind of a thing, probably. So yeah. Okay, what's next? Was he serious about liking the other women, or was he just being an asshole? Let's find out. I definitely think this person has asshole tendencies. I'm picking up on that. I'm picking up on their assholery. My dogs are like trying to get into the room from the outside. Ooh, let the dogs out. Oof, 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 oof. Because we have soulmate in reverse, so like you could have, like, you know, let this person be. Let them do what they wanted to do. And then just like witness them doing what they wanted to do. And then they were like, okay, well, I'm gonna have this one and that one and that one and this one. And you're like, okay, whatever, like, that's what you want. That makes you happy, then like, cool. I'm kind of picking up on that. Are they really serious about this other woman? Death in the reverse. Probably mostly sexual experiences. Mostly like sexual pursuits. Not fixed. But maybe passionate. Okay. Knight of Wands, yeah, literally. Are they serious about the other people? Is Panini's person serious about his other options? Nine of Swords in reverse. Queen of Wands in reverse. The Lovers. Six of Swords in reverse. Yeah, I don't think so. The Lovers came out, but it's next to the Queen of Wands, which was like your card from before. So, like, this is how it looks on the table. They're going back to the soulmate. And then you're like right there. You're not in a formal position, but that doesn't really matter with this like twin energy. In their mind, it doesn't matter. Like, that's what they would say. I'm just saying, I'm going back to 5:05. If it's an hour flight or a 45-minute drive. The Star and Justice. In my imagination, you're waiting, lying on your side. 8 of Cups. With your hands between your thighs and a smile. Not shy of spark. Knife twists at the thought that I should fall short of the mark. Empress. The middle of adventure, such a perfect place to start. I'm getting like this energy of them like falling asleep at the wheel. I know my girlfriend is a witch. I wonder if this person is under somebody's spell or something. And the bug. Falling asleep at the wheel. Like, dude, I feel like this person, like, they said that they were, like, in love with these other people. I don't think they're really in love with these people. I think they, like, have other people around. This is why I'm saying, check out the other reading I said. Because there's, like, other people for sure, but they're not, like, important. They're not as important. They don't really compare. there is a definitive Empress, and then there's the other ones. And they're maybe significant in their own ways, but they're not the lovers. This person could be in denial about certain parts of themselves, or they could be enabled to be certain parts of themselves. This is a difficult energy to fully see because I don't know who those people are, and they're not even really being fully explained, other than the fact that they're karmically significant, like their karma. Whoever those are, they're represented by Aquarius and Libra. Both were ruled by Saturn, which is like the lesson teacher. You're coming out with like the Lovers and the Empress. So, you know, this person could be distracted, and they would have like created those distractions for themselves, but now they have to like kind of find their way out of that. And they could be deeper than they even thought that they were. But I don't think that, like, how are, you know, like, I'm in love with like multiple women. It's, to me, it seems like this person is seeking something. So it's not like they're really in love with multiple women. They just are seeking something that they can't find. And it's not that you don't have it to give. It's just that they can't even accept it from you. So it's like a them thing. I don't know that those people are really like, whatever they're seeking, they will find something. But it'll come in the form of like a karmic lesson. You know, like, Saturn is like, it takes a while to even like get around the sun too. So those are like sometimes longer term lessons, and you're literally moving away. Like, that could be part of the divine orchestration of this whole thing, is like, you might need they might need to be left with their other options to suffer with those other options, because Saturn is it'll make you suffer. And then they'll be like, oh geez, you know, like, what did I do? Because it feels like they've made their bed in some kind of way. And they could be like about to be initiated into a greater sense of realization of what they've chosen over you, and how that differs from you, and what they truly prefer. And that's something that you couldn't have like told this person. They'd have to like live that for themselves. Like, they'd have to like go through these cycles and then be like, yeah, that was a mistake. And that's for them to do. Oh my gosh, dude. The Emperor right underneath that, and then the Ace of Cups. It's like tucked in there. They're the Emperor, but they're in the reverse. They're like, they're not who they should be for you. So I'm not saying don't invest any more effort, but just know that they're in flawed Emperor energy. So they have more work to do on themselves and unstucking to do. Like, they're stuck. They're stuck and they need to unstuck themselves. You can't do that for them. And they may even stuck themselves further out of spite, which is like difficult for you to probably swallow. So I'm sorry. I think they would be like apologetic, honestly. If they weren't so vain. You're so vain. You probably think this song is about you. You're so vain. Yeah, you probably know this person's narcissistic. But, you know, whatever. I'm not judging you. Shit happens. Okay, what does he think when he sees you at work? You're so vain. You probably think this song is about you. You're so vain. That you're not going anywhere, because you're there with them at work every day. Like, you're doing your own thing, but you're not, they don't expect your departure. So I really do think that the whole moving news would come as a shock. Because this person probably thinks of everybody as being as stuck as they are. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse. Definitely attracted to you. Worth paying attention to. Chariot in reverse. Once again, not going anywhere, but comforting with Cancer energy. Work wife, work mom kind of thing. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Not going anywhere, but comforting. Nine of Swords in reverse and the Emperor in reverse again. They could be insecure about what they have in work or like what they do at work. Maybe how that compares to you. You could rank higher than them or something like that. Like you could be their boss. They could worry about like what people would say if they like came to your desk or something. High Priestess in reverse, Nine of Cups. This person has insecurities, which is what makes them narcissistic. Like that's the whole thing. Like you don't become a narcissist by being like confident and not secure, or secure. Like the basis of narcissism is insecurity. So in some kind of way, Ace of Pentacles, it could be like how much money you make or something like that. It makes them feel like they need to outdo you, which I think they would do in the form of like emotional manipulation by like, you know, making you feel insecure about your worth as a woman or something. It's fucked up. It's fucked up, but predictable. And then we had the Knight of Swords. Yeah, they would like, you know, they would definitely keep an eye on you because you're the one that they want, but they would struggle to approach that relationship with any kind of like seriousness or like be direct about that because they have insecurities about what they have to do in order to be that way. So it's like a emotional stunting, lack of emotional maturity that honestly keeps them where they're at right now and where you guys are right now. But once again, I still think there's a value to you communicating and expressing yourself. Like say what you have to say until you have nothing else to say. And then when you have nothing else to say, then you have nothing to say and then you're done. You know, like when you're done talking to this person, then you'll really be ready to walk away. And nothing that anybody can really say to you after that. But I think for as long as you have emotions for this person, it's not bad for you to express them. Like, you got to get that out. And the most productive, healthy way to do that is to communicate directly. So, like, the person could learn from you in the way that you communicate and speak directly about how you feel and what you want. Yeah. And I think regardless of how this turns out, they'll value you for the fact that you did that. So I hope that this helped you, Panini. Thank you so much for choosing me again to be your reader. It makes me feel good. And I hope you have a good day. Bye.